Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome, and thank you for joining me for the next episode of Rapid Fire Friday. I'm excited to be here. It is Friday. It's a rainy day, but that is okay. TGI Friday. So I wanted to welcome everyone. Thank you so much for those that are joining the community just this week. We had a surge of new members after this past Wednesday's free masterclass. And this was the first of a 3-part series. So if you missed the first one, don't worry, you can watch the replay. I'm doing a 3-part series about royal icing consistency. So this past Wednesday, I went through the first of 3 and we focused on dipping cookies. Why would you want to dip cookies? How in the world do you dip cookies? And some tips and tricks to ease that process for you. And then the next couple of parts are coming up. We have the next one, which will be focusing on piping, which will be on July 27th. And then the final one will be on flooding. So mastering the perfect flooding consistency. And that will be on August 10th. Please be aware that I am going to be skipping next Wednesday. So there will be no masterclass on Wednesday as we are kicking off, I'm so excited, our renovation of our secondary kitchen. And that is the place coming this fall is where I'm going to be hosting some in-person events. So stay tuned. I do plan on sharing a bit about the behind the scenes and how it's going. We'll do a before and an after picture most certainly, but I'm very happy to be working with Kalen Construction here in Wisconsin, and they are going to be doing an incredible job on our kitchen. So stay tuned. But welcome to Rapid Fire Friday. I want to dive right in because time goes so quickly when we're together on these Friday mornings at 10 o'clock. Every 10 o'clock, I'm on live going through 5 Q&A, so in rapid fire format. What I do is in the last week, I take a look at all the groups that I'm in and maybe conversations with my team or my colleagues or partners, and I bring 5 kind of interesting topics or scenarios your way, and it is in rapid fire format. So if you're not familiar with me, my name is Annette Conrad, and I am the owner and lead creative for Edible Impressions, located just north of downtown Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And I do welcome you to my Facebook group that I created, which is free, really out of the love and passion that I have for decorating cookies, and more importantly, helping you transition your hobby to a business if you chose to do so. So I have 24 years of plenty experience and 17 years of owning my own business with a nationwide reach. And if you can imagine those 2 worlds colliding, I've got a lot to share. So, all right, let's get on to it. Rapid Fire Friday. I'm going to ring the bell after each question, and I welcome you to go deeper post broadcast, and I will always come back and answer any questions that you may have. Okay, so question number 1. This was actually just this morning in the community, and I wanted to make sure that I included it in this week because it's super, super important. So thank you so much for the community member that posted this. So the question was, my shoulders and neck are killing me from bending over to decorate. Do you have any tips or tricks? Yes, I do. Okay, definitely. This is super important to take care of our bodies, especially when we are in a handcrafted industry. So for someone who's been decorating for over 17 years, I am all too familiar with the aches and pains that come along with decorating for hours and hours on end. So there are a couple strategies that you can consider for yourself to avoid those aches and pains. First of all, number 1, I really am proud of myself because I've made it a point of getting up in the morning and I have my normal routine, but I make a point of actually stretching. So for too long, I didn't really take care in the sense of stretching out your muscles in your neck and your shoulders and your arms and your wrists and do all that. So even if it's a 5 to 10 minute routine, just stretch out a little bit. And with the warmer weather, I have been making a point of also taking a very short walk. I don't care how short, even if it's 1 loop around the block. Sometimes I like to do a 2-mile walk, but if I don't have time, I will at least make 1 spin around the block. It just kind of wakes up all of those muscles. Number 2, take frequent breaks. So please do that every 20, 30 minutes. Get up and just, again, stretch. Do some neck rolls, do some shoulder rolls. That has done wonders for me. Another little tip here real quick is your chair. Super important. For many years, I had folding chairs. I've got rid of those folding chairs, and now I have variable seating chairs so that anyone on my team can adjust the height accordingly, because we're all different heights. So I found that for me personally made a big difference. So I'm constantly going up and down on my chair depending on what I'm doing. When I'm using my projector, when I'm doing really fine detail work, I actually put my seat all the way down so that I don't have to bend over as far. So the chair is super important. You can try standing. They make really inexpensive tabletop stand-up desks. So if you want to alternate, that is a really great way to avoid any kind of leg cramp or back cramps. So you can kind of alternate. And then finally, take extended breaks, people. Now, I love to decorate, and I've been known to decorate for hours and hours and hours. I get so involved with what I'm doing. I love what I do. So I literally will just lose track of time. So I've actually set my watch now that reminds me to, okay, time to take a break. So thank you, Apple, for that. But I've added a few extra ones in there. And I don't just say just take a break, stand up and stretch. I actually physically get out of my workspace and just get some fresh air, walk around the block, have some lunch. Don't forget to eat, people. So, there are definitely strategies that you can do to take care of your body, okay? All right, that was a long one, but they're not all that long today. All right, so here's one really quick about troubleshooting, okay? I don't know, for those of you that had seen a while back, I posted these beautiful hearts with a wedding dress, and I made royal icing flowers. It was beautiful. Well, I don't think that you maybe had seen the final presentation, but part of the task was to personalize that heart with the bride and groom's name. So where I'm going with this is I made a mistake. I spelled the name wrong. And so I want to just rewind. A couple of months ago, I talked about lost opportunity if you're not sending pictures to your clients prior to delivery or pickup. So it happens to the best of us. I've been doing this a long time, but yes, I spelled the name wrong. Katie was not supposed to have an E. So really quickly here, I just want to let you know that a future masterclass, I'm going to talk about troubleshooting and how you can fix those mistakes. But number one important lesson here is send a picture to your folks before, if possible, when they pick up or deliver. Because had I not sent a picture in advance, my client would not have brought it to my attention that I misspelled the name, and I would not have had the opportunity to correct it. So it was unfortunate that it happened, but I was able to fix it. I did not have to start completely over. So I think maybe post-event, I will maybe show you the picture and show you how I fixed it. But I just want to let you know that mistakes happen. Don't be too hard on yourself. And there is typically an easy fix. So, and they were lovely in the end, and no one even knew that I misspelled the name. Okay, on to the next one. Hello, and just thank you so much, Leah and Denise and Mary, for joining me live. I know there's lots of people that do watch the replay, so thank you for being here. I know there are so many places that you could be, and it just really warms my heart knowing that you have interest and that you are watching. So thank you so much. Okay, the next question is, I made cookies Thursday, flooded half the night, spent all day Friday adding the detail. Now this person is going out of town, and the cookies are for a shower the next Saturday. So she says she told the woman that she can freeze the cookies once she receives them, or just take them out of the freezer a day before and not to disturb the container until it comes to room temperature. However, could she just leave them heat sealed on the counter for an entire week? This is a great question. And I know we've covered freezing cookies before. I'm taking a little bit of a different spin on this one. She says, I always worry about that just because of my anxiety. I've never tasted one of my cookies a week after they've been made out of their heat sealed bags. They usually don't last that long, do they? So really good scenario I wanted to bring up. So first of all, your cookies will last and stay moist and fresh for much longer than 1 week. So if you decorate them, you dry them appropriately, and you heat seal them, that is locking in that freshness. And again, we do large volume, we do virtual experiences. We are shipping kits out weeks in advance sometimes, especially around the holidays. I've got experiential companies that are actually using my kit to be a bigger part of a bigger package. So they can't have to be sent to a warehouse where they're going to sit potentially for a week, maybe even 2 weeks. And I know that sounds frightening, but I have never had one client or one attendee ever tell me that my cookies were not delicious and that they tasted old or that they were dry or that they were brittle, because I heat sealed them quickly after they were set. So don't worry about that. The moisture in the frosting is going to keep that cookie very fresh. Now, here's the thing on the freezing part. I would not advise my client to freeze cookies. There is an art form to freezing. One mishap, one piece of instruction she doesn't follow, her cookies could be a disaster. And you spend all that time making these beautiful cookies, and you could say, yep, it's not my problem. Once you pick them up, I give you the instructions, not my problem. But believe me, if you care as much as I care, it's going to hurt, and you're going to want that person to be satisfied. So I just caution on instructing your clients to freeze cookies. I do it very, very, very selectively. I may choose to freeze cookies for a reason, but I think one time instructed a client to freeze because of an event date change. But in fact, I offered to remake them. I mean, of course, at additional cost, but there are options. I try to avoid that because again, one mishap and you could have a complaint there. So there you go. Hello, Laura, and hello, Lizbelle. Thank you so much for joining. Nice to see you guys online. I appreciate it. Okay, so here's another one. I love this one. And forgive me if I already talked about this in the group or in a past masterclass, but it's so good. So, okay, it says, my biggest fear starting up is that someone will contact me with a Pinterest set of cookies that they fell in love with, and I won't be able to pull it off. Do some of you already going in your business, what do some of you already going into business suggest? How do you tackle this when they present something that you don't know how to do? Okay, there's a lot that is, packed in that one short paragraph. So it's such a good topic. So first of all, be very, very careful. Look at that Pinterest image and determine if that is a protected or copyright image. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about that, but that is your way of graciously declining that order. I would advise you to stay far away from those protected and branded characters, first of all, because you don't have the rights to copy them. And second of all, they are typically created by a very, very talented artist. So to try to duplicate that, and I know people do, but why would you even want to try that, especially if you are starting off, okay? I would also say you can choose to even take custom orders. You don't have to take custom orders. You can go back and reply to that person and say, wow, those are lovely, but here's what I can do. I like to put my own flair on it. I don't like to mirror, and I tell people I don't like to necessarily mirror or copy other cookie artists, even if it's not copyrighted. I tell them that I'm going to put my own flair on it. And it's really their choice, whether or not they will, decide to go with you. I haven't really met people in my experience that they're like, oh, no, I want this exactly. You can't make any minor changes to it. I've never really had someone decline in order for that. You definitely want to include a disclaimer if you don't have one, letting them know that if you're going to try to mirror a design, there will be, in fact, don't say maybe, say there will be variations in the color scheme, final presentation, and even the packaging. So let them know that up front. And then it's also getting to the point of how do you handle that if you've never done it before. You need to make the call. If you think you're not comfortable making that design, you won't be comfortable making that design. So, just go with your gut instinct. It's typically right. It is typically right. All right, let me see. I think I had a couple more things to mention, but I don't want to go too far off. And here's the last thing. Be very, very careful about pictures that people send you, okay? We are living in the world of filters. People can change those pictures. They can make them look immaculate, make them look perfect. In fact, I have a rule with my husband who helps me take many of my pictures, and I, of course, take many of my pictures, but the rule is we don't ever use filters or we don't touch them up. I love that handcrafted feel of the handcrafted cookies. So, but I just warn that don't try, you'll set yourself up for failure if you think that you can make an identical picture to something that looks completely flawless. So, okay. Whew, this is a long one today, but these are such good topics and I get so energized, as you can see, by, thinking about what the response will be. Okay, so here's the last one. Quick question about pricing. It would not be Rapid Fire Friday without some question revolving around pricing and presentation. Super important to always talk about this. So this one says, I have made cookies for friends and family for free, and I have someone interested in an order. She requested 2 dozen, a Tutti Frutti theme. How fun is that? and I'm not sure how much to charge. There's another local baker in the area who charges $45 a dozen or $3.75 a cookie, but her work is incredible, okay? I'm truly beginner. I was thinking $3 to $3.50 a cookie. I live in east of Nashville, if that helps, with pricing based as location as well. Here are some pictures of my work. Any help would be greatly appreciated. Okay, first of all, you're a beginner. Your work was beautiful. It looked great. A couple things here. I would not be worried about what other people are charging in your area. Okay, I know that's going to sound a little bit opposite of what I've said in other master classes. Yes, I always encourage you to go online, look and see who your competitors are. Yes, look and see what their services that they're offering, what their products look like, and what they're charging. But do not copy or mirror that. You need to establish and figure out what your value is. What is your niche? What is it something that you're unique that you're offering? You set your prices for what you believe the value is and stick with it. Even if you are a beginner, that's one of the biggest regrets I have is when I started, my prices were way, way low. It took me a long time. It took me years to get up to the certain point of where I felt my prices were very reasonable for the value that I'm providing, but I undersold myself. I undervalued my work for too long. So hold your ground, okay? And here's the other thing is there are so many customers out there that you don't have to worry that, that there's not enough business out there. So, do the hard work, be committed to your craft, and just know that if someone declines an order, it's okay. It's okay. Not everybody is going to say yes to your offering. But if you hold your ground, those quality customers will find you. And then finally on pricing, and I know I talked about this before, starting prices, especially if you're starting out, again, something that I did not institute in my business until much later. I had flat fees for everything. So now I've learned over the years that, and everybody knows that some designs are easier than others. So by having starting prices for your favor bags, platters, gift tins, and so forth, that allows you to offer flexibility for, let's say, a first-time client, or you can base your pricing, which is what I do. I base my pricing on the quantity of cookies, the quantity of designs, the size of the cookie, the packaging and presentation, and also the decorating technique. Now, that's a lot of variables, and I do not bother my clients with all that, but when they fill out that order form, that's when I can decide what I'm going to quote based on their vision and all their order specifications. So I love the topic of pricing. I could talk all day about it, but I think that will cover that particular scenario. All right, that was Rapid Fire Friday. I've lost track on what episode this is, but you know what? I'm downloading all of these to YouTube. So if you find it easier to watch videos on YouTube, you can catch up. If you're new to the community and want to watch previous episodes, go to YouTube, search Edible Impressions. Please subscribe. And I am working on potentially offering a How-To Tuesdays on YouTube, which I will also download to this community. So if you are a fan of Facebook, this is where you live, then you will not be missing a thing. But for those YouTubers out there, go ahead and follow me there. So, all right. So last thing I'll just mention is the next, just a really quick reminder again, I will not be having a masterclass this Wednesday. The next one is scheduled for July 27th. And it will be part 2 of part 3 parts series. And we are going to talk about piping consistency. Thank you so much for everybody for being here. And I will talk to you all soon. Have a nice weekend, everybody. Bye-bye.